What's up everybody, I'm HoopsandHipHop. So once upon a time, a long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, I was making some videos where I was basically ranking all of the different characters in the Pokemon world. I started with the gym leaders, and then I went on to champions, and then Pokemon Sword and Shield happened. Ever since Pokemon Sword and Shield was revealed, you guys probably have noticed that I have kind of skewed my upload schedule towards focusing on those games for obvious reasons, so it kind of threw my regular uploads, if you will, off track, and I kind of had to save them for a bit to avoid them being completely overshadowed by the Sword and Shield hype. Well, I feel like now enough time has gone by to where I can kind of go back and start to reintroduce these videos, and as I say that, we'll probably get some more news for Sword and Shield in about 2 days. But with all of that being said, today we are going to go ahead and rank all of the Frontier Brains from worst to best. The Battle Frontier is one of the most beloved features of all time in the Pokemon franchise, and even though it only appeared in 2 generations, that did not stop fans from instantly falling in love with it. And of course, in the Battle Frontier, your object is to face and defeat each of the Frontier Brains, which are kind of like gym leaders for the Battle Frontier. Now, I will preface this video by saying that I did not spend that much time in the Battle Frontier. Battling in battle towers and different things like that has never quite been my cup of tea, so I don't have a ton of experience interacting with the Frontier Brains, but I still thought it would be fun to rank them in my own personal opinion and tell you guys why I like them or which ones are my favorite or least favorite and all of that good stuff. These videos always end up being pretty interesting from an opinion perspective, so definitely let me know your opinions in the comments below as well, and with all that being said, let's go ahead and check it out. Okay, so as of right now, there are currently 12 Frontier Brains from the 2 different Battle Frontiers that we have seen up to this point. And coming in at the bottom of the list at number 12 is Factory Head Thorton from the Gen 4 Battle Frontier. Now, I don't really dislike this guy in any way, shape, or form. In fact, I don't dislike any of the Frontier Brains, but this guy makes it at the bottom of the list because his design and his character doesn't really do anything for me. It's kind of just there. It's just kind of meh. I don't really get much from it, and on top of that, the thing that really kills him is that he uses rental Pokemon as opposed to his own unique team like some of the other Frontier Brains do, and that really holds him back in terms of making it very high on this ranking. Next up at number 11 is another Frontier Brain from the Gen 4 Battle Frontier, and that would be Hall Matron Argenta. Now, aside from the fact that she kind of reminds me of Amelia Earhart for some reason, and that's kind of cool, once again, this character doesn't really do anything for me, and she does not have her own unique set-in-stone team, which once again really holds her back from getting very high on this list, and so for those reasons, that's why she sits at number 11. Making it into the top 10, we have Arena Tycoon Greta from the original Gen 3 Battle Frontier. Now, there is absolutely nothing wrong with Greta's character whatsoever. There are just simply some other Frontier Brains that I like more than her. She did, however, get this high on the list because she does have her own unique team, unlike the previous 2 picks, but there isn't really anything super special about it, and that's another reason why she was held back to the lower end of the list. Coming in at number 9 is Factory Head Noland, and the thing I like most about this guy is his character design. He always reminded me of some type of boxing trainer or coach, and it honestly looks like, in my opinion, that he belongs in a Rocky movie, and he's the type of guy that would just be so inspirational and would coach you to victory in some type of big boxing match or tournament, but outside of that, he really doesn't have anything going for him. He doesn't really have any backstory like some of the other Frontier Brains do that add to his character, and he also uses rental Pokemon, which once again is a huge detractor for me in terms of the quality of the Frontier Brains themselves. So even though he is ahead of Greta, who does have her own team because I just like the look of his character so much, that can only get him so far on the list. Coming in at number 8 is Dome Ace Tucker, and this is where things start to get interesting, because the main advantage for Tucker, in my opinion, are his teams that he uses, and not only does he have his own unique teams, but he has an amazing couple of teams at that. Amongst the different teams he uses, he has a Salamence, a Swampert, a Charizard, a Metagross, and most importantly, a Latias, meaning he owns a legendary Pokemon, and at the time when he was introduced in Gen 3, an NPC PC trainer using a legendary Pokemon was absolutely unheard of. So to see him actually have and use a legendary Pokemon against you was just absolutely jaw-dropping as a kid, and it definitely gives him a lot of brownie points as well in terms of making him one of the best frontier brains that we've ever seen. Up next at number 7 is Palace Maven Spencer. Now, towards the middle of the list at number 7 is honestly where Spencer belongs, because he honestly does a solid job in every single one of the categories in which I am ranking these characters. Number 1, he has a cool team and uses a legendary Pokemon in Suicune, so he gets points for that. He has a really cool monk type of design, and you can't help but respect any character that has this sort of look going for him. And then number 3, he actually holds a staff that has the body pattern of Kyogre on it, which even though that isn't really explained in the games themselves, it does give him some intrigue in terms of what his backstory could be, which is another very important part for me specifically in terms of ranking the quality of these characters. And exactly in the middle of the list at number 6 is Pike Queen Lucy. Now, even though Lucy does not have a legendary Pokemon on her team, her entire design is inspired by her signature Pokemon in Seviper, which is not only really cool in and of itself, but I'm pretty sure not very many Pokemon characters, in terms of the human ones, can say that they were designed after a Pokemon. So this is a unique trait that she can basically claim her own. On top of that, she also owns a Cyndaquil in the anime, which obviously shows she has great taste, and she's also one of the very first girls in the anime to show some legitimate romantic interest in our boy Brock, and you gotta know I'm always pulling for our guy Brock, so she gets some major brownie points for that as well. Kicking off the top 5, we have Arcade Star Dalia, once again from the Gen 4 Battle Frontier. Now, much like some of the other picks already on this list, she does use a Zapdos, and so she gets points for using a legendary Pokemon, but in addition to that, she's kind of just waifu material in my own opinion, and it's hard for me not to be impartial to her for that, so that's kind of why she ends up at number 5. Up next at number 4, we have Pyramid King Brandon, and if I was ranking these characters based on how hardcore they are, Brandon would definitely be number 1. First off, he uses 2 different teams in the Battle Frontier, both of which entirely consist of legendary Pokemon. On one team, he uses all 3 Reggies, and on the other team, he uses all 3 legendary birds, so this guy is packing with the legendary Pokemon. In addition to that though, he was also given a very nice piece of backstory in Oraz, where it was revealed that he once had led an expedition in order to find the mythical Pokemon Volcanion from the Kalos region, and different things like that that just give characters an added bit of depth and backstory to them really makes a difference in my opinion, which gets Brandon all the way to number 4. And making it into the top 3, we have Castle Valet Derek. Now, first off, much like a bunch of other picks on this list, Derek does use a legendary Pokemon as he has Entei on a couple of his teams, so he does get points for that, but obviously the thing here that really brings him this high on the list is that it's not just him in terms of this character, but it's him and another familiar character as well, and that would be none other than Caitlyn. Caitlyn made her first appearance alongside Derek in the Gen 4 Battle Frontier, but she became popular and more well-known in the Gen 5 Elite Four as she was a member of the Unova Elite Four. And we also, on top of this, got to see her grow up and age as well, and seeing this kind of character progression from one role to the next, and also kind of growing both in terms of age and growing as a person, is just a fantastic thing to see. It really gives her a lot of character development, which I love in any video game, especially Pokemon, so that got her, and Derek for that matter, a ton of bonus points in terms of how much I like them, which gets them the number 3 spot. Finally, we have made it to the top 2, and coming in at number 2 is Tower Tycoon Palmer. Now, the reason why Palmer made it so high on the list is because honestly, he has everything going for him. Number 1, he uses a number of different legendary Pokemon in Heatran, Regigigas, and Cresselia, but most importantly, he is also the father to the rival character from Diamond Pearl and Platinum Berry, and honestly, that just makes all the difference for him in terms of him being one of my favorites. We have seen a couple of different grandfathers fathers to a couple of different rival characters, but this is literally the only time where we have actually seen who the father of any given rival character is, and not only to see that, but to also see that he plays such an important role and is also such a strong trainer in the game really makes the difference for him in being easily one of the best Frontier brains we've ever seen, and one of the cool characters of all time in general that we've seen in the Pokemon franchise as well. And finally, at the number 1 spot, my absolute favorite Frontier brain up to this point has got to be Salon Maiden Anabel. Now, Salon Maiden Anabel really just has so much going for her that I couldn't not give her the number 1 spot. Number 1, she uses 3 different legendaries on her team. She has Entei, Raikou, and Latios, but the real reason that really shot her up to number 1 in my own opinion was her recent character development that she got in Pokemon Sun and Moon. An older version of Anabel appears in Sun and Moon as a member of the International Police, and very similar to the Derek and Caitlyn pick, getting to see Anabel grow both as a person and as a character from one game to the next is just really the difference maker for me in terms of why she's my favorite, because character development like that in video games, and Pokemon especially, is really just one of my favorite things of all time in terms of gaming. So when we get to see it in Pokemon, because it doesn't happen that often, it's really a special treat. On top of that, her character arc in Pokemon Sun and Moon could very well confirm the amount of time that takes place between the beginning of the Pokemon timeline to the current end of it with Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon, which would be 10 years, because she states that 10 years ago she fell through an Ultra wormhole, and she stated specifically during that time that she remembered being a Frontier brain, and even though this is not a theory video, so I don't want to get too into it, that is the theory I subscribe to in terms of how much time there is between the beginning of the timeline to the end of the timeline, and the fact that Anabel's story confirmed that, or at least gave us an idea of what could potentially be the answer to that question that we've had for so long, is just another reason as to why she is definitely my all-time favorite Frontier brain. And there we have it, everybody. Now, like I said at the beginning of the video, I don't have too much experience with the Battle Frontier myself, so my reasonings for my picks might be completely different from yours, and if that is the case, that is okay. So definitely let me know down in the comments below what you think of my picks, and what your personal rankings are as well. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a like because it really helps the video out, and if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe for more new Pokemon content every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Finally, if you like what you see here and you would like to see more in the future as well, consider following me on Spotify and checking out some of my Pokemon remixes there, because that is the easiest way to further support the channel outside of just watching videos, and let me tell you, it does go a long way, so it is greatly appreciated if you even consider doing so. With all of that being said though, I will be back on Saturday for another video, so be sure to hit that notification bell so you can be notified as soon as it goes live. And with all that being said, you know I love you guys as always, and until the next one, as always, I will smell you guys later.